that's not the point. The point was to figure out where the problem was, fix that problem, and bring this unit back in service. Okay, the board has been mounted back in the wine cooler, and as you can see, there's 2 fan connectors at the top. Then there is a 3-wire connector there, which I believe is for the internal fan. And at the bottom, I think that's the thermal sensor. And what I have hanging right now are the leads to the piezoelectric module. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to power this thing up, but without the piezoelectric component connected, because that's the big draw. And what we want to test first is whether or not this thing even starts. If it doesn't start, we have a bigger problem, because before it did start, but when I connected the 2 leads here, it died. I mean, it started buzzing and creating bad sounds and basically not working. So what we're going to do now is just turn this thing on and see if it flips a breaker in the house, doesn't do anything, emits a puff of white smoke, or just works. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. And we got a puff of hair floating out of the fan. So good news, we have a green LED and a red LED, as you can see. And I don't know if you can hear it, but we have a fan blowing air through this part. So that means that apparently it's working. What I'm going to do now is navigate around to the front and see what the front display says. Let's have a look. Okay, gotta get up now. And the front panel says 12, whatever that means. So next thing to do is turn this puppy off and plug in the piezoelectric and see if that emits white smoke. So that's the next test. We've got the piezo connected. The black piezo is connected to the, I don't know if you can see it, the negative sign, and lurking underneath the red is a positive sign. So here is white smoke test number 2. We're going to turn this thing on and see if it goes wild. Yeah, same problem. So the component we replaced was not the component we needed to replace. See, the diagnostics of this is, you see that little red LED kind of unable to make it? That's the sign of the power supply just not being able to do its thing. And all I have to do is pull this negative lead out, and it starts. So we've got a power undersupply problem, and it wasn't that diode transistor stuff. There is some other thing in here that is unable to make the power happen. And that means we're going to go with replacing the entire board, because I've run out of time. So in a few days the board will arrive, we'll swap it in, and we'll see if that fixes this problem. Ciao for now. I don't know whether to declare victory or not, but for what it's worth, here we go. Now that's the sign of a properly functioning power board in this wine cooler, but I can't claim total victory, because what I ended up doing in the interest of saving time was I replaced the entire board. And that's not what I wanted to do. What I wanted to do was a board level repair to show where the defective component was. My guess is it's one of these two guys. And the reason why I say that is because on this replacement board, which cost me $20, they had changed this component, which I have changed, plus these two components, which I had not changed. So that would have been my next target. Anyways, I have so many projects lined up that I decided to just take the easy way out and just buy a replacement board instead of fixing the existing board, which is a bit of a bummer for me, but I do have a functioning wine cooler in the end, and there's a reason why I needed it to function. And the reason is right here. So I need somewhere to put all this stuff, and Mrs. Maker has decided that she's going to buy a bunch of wine on sale. We got these for about 10 Canadian dollars each, so looking forward to drinking that. Anyways, the wine cooler needed to be working because we need somewhere to put all that wine. So yeah, all my fancy plans of 12-volt relays and board level repairs all gone by the wayside because we just needed to get moving on this thing. So as you can see, the wine cooler is functioning fine, and I don't know, it's just so anticlimactic. I would really wanted to be able to figure out which of these components on the board had gone bad, which transistor, which capacitor, because that's what it was going to be. And now I think it's probably one of those two bad boys that's gone wonky. So that's the end of the saga of WINO. I'm going to put the back on, and I'm going to put this unit where it's going to stay now forever, holding wine and hopefully not giving us any trouble. I'll finish up the connectivity. Those heat shrink leads need to be redone, and then basically this fix is complete. So I realize this isn't exactly what we set out to do, but believe you me, there are tons and tons of other projects to work on in Bamboo House, and this is not the highest priority. Mrs. Maker wants me to put a whole bunch of stuff in that matters to her, which is quickly becoming a top priority for me. So I would like to say that this fix was had its twists and turns. This unit's been out of service for over a month now, just waiting for parts to arrive. And now that the board arrived, within 20 minutes I've installed it because I need a place to put all that wine, get it off my work surface. And there we are. So we have a functioning wine cooler. For those of you who care, it's just the control board. Some aspect of the power circuitry and the control board has gone bad because this board is able to muster the amperage to drive that that piezo electric, oh no, it's Peltier, that Peltier circuit there, which draws quite a bit of power. So in there somewhere lurking is a defective component, and I suppose one day I should, if I have oodles of spare time, I would take the other board out and start playing with it to determine exactly which component failed, but that's just not my circumstances right now. So here we are. We have a functioning wine cooler. For those of you who want to get one of these wine coolers up and running again, this is an FX102 board. They're very common across many different types of wine cooler. So if you buy a replacement board, you can probably get your cooler up and running for, mine cost me about say $20–25 with shipping, and the wine cooler itself didn't cost me anything. So okay, I got a wine cooler for $25. But that's not the point. The point was to figure out where the problem was, fix that problem, and bring this unit back in service with as low level a repair as possible. Unfortunately, Not an achievable goal this time around, so we're going to have to settle for a functioning board level, a functioning wine cooler as a consequence of a complete board PCB swap out, which is still a little technical, but nowhere near as much fun as trying to figure out what happened on the board. Well, that's enough whining. The cooler's working, and I should be happy, so I am, and I can move on to other stuff. So I'm going to take it philosophically. And that's it for now. Take care, and keep making. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please consider subscribing, giving me a like, and leaving me a comment. I really enjoy making these videos, and I want to know from you how I can make them better. The whole point of these videos is to demonstrate that if I can do something, you can do it too. Well, that's it for now. So long, and remember, keep making.